And welcome into this edition of ACAP Today for the week of January 10th, 2022. I'm Jason Parent with the Aroostook County Action Program. We're so glad that you joined us here in this new year. On this week's edition of ACAP Today, we're going to talk about one of ACAP's new programs. As I shared with you last week, we're going to begin to spotlight some new programs that the agency is offering this year. And although this is not a new program to us, nor is it a new program to Aroostook County, ACAP is newly taking on the oversight of this program for Central Aroostook and Northern Aroostook County. We've had on the program before Alison Gooding, who is the SNAP-Ed coordinator, community educator in the Southern Aroostook area. She's going to be back on the program, along with Hoose, who's a new individual, a new team member here at ACAP and here in Aroostook County, who's going to talk about plans for that program in Central and Northern Aroostook County. Before we get to all of that, though, we're first going to go to the news and information that you can use again for this week of January 10th, 2022. Still getting used to saying 2022. So we move forward in the news segment of the broadcast by first sharing with you that one of the new programs we'll also be talking about in the coming weeks, ACAP's Breakthrough Youth Program, is preparing to roll out its first 12-session program designed to encourage youth on a number of opportunities, including exploring careers, learning how to help or reduce alcohol and substance use, creating pathways to achieve career goals, and of course, financial literacy, among many more activities. There are a couple of sessions coming up in Presque Isle. The first one in partnership with MSAD Adult Education. That one starts on the 26th of January, Wednesday the 26th. It will be held from 5 to 7 p.m. that first session, and they'll continue in that time frame. You can visit the Adult Ed website at MSAD number 1 or call us here at ACAP at 764-3721 so that we can connect your youth with this program. It is for youth ages 14 to 24, just to provide some clarification on that. We'll also be offering a session at the Presque Isle Housing Authority Community Room at the Birch Street Community Center. That one will start on February 1st, and they'll be held from 3 to 5 in the afternoon. You can register for that directly through ACAP using the prevention email there, or again, giving us a call at 764-3721. This Breakthrough Youth Program offered by ACAP is also being offered in partnership with our partner sister agencies, Penquist, in the Penobscot and Piscataquis County areas, and Downey's Community Partners in the Washington and Hancock County regions of the state of Maine. Now, if you are in a community outside of Presque Isle and would like to have the Breakthrough Youth Program come to your community, we are encouraging you to give us a call at 764-3721 and speak with Meg Hegman. We'd love to offer this program in other communities if there is interest in hosting outside of Presque Isle. We also want to share with you that our Prime for Life program, or the curriculum of the Prime for Life program, is available for students ages 13 and up. We are currently looking for schools or community groups who would like to have the prevention or the Prime for Life prevention research program offered in their communities. It is a program that helps youth who use substances or who are at high risk of using substances. And it helps individuals understand about healthy life choices. It's a really good program that is beneficial to youth of all ages, especially middle school on up. So we certainly encourage you, if you have any interest in connecting with us and having the Prime for Life program offered in your school or with your community group, to contact our Robin Thurston. You can reach her directly at 498-9602 or through rthurston@acap-me.org to find out more about this program and how we might connect with your organization or school district. We also want to remind folks that the tax season is just around the corner, and volunteers are needed as part of the Cash Coalition here in Aroostook County, where you can become an IRS certified tax preparer and help certainly make a difference in your community. The tax season will be starting up shortly, and we're looking for volunteers to help individuals who will be getting their taxes prepared for free as a result of their income eligibility into the program. This is a partnership amongst several Aroostook County organizations here locally and several partners statewide. Among them here in Aroostook County, in addition to ACAP, is the United Way of Aroostook, which houses the program and really works with the program to administer it. ACAP is a critical partner in terms of helping individuals after your taxes have been prepared, and a conduit of information to get your tax documents to and from the United Way. We certainly encourage you to contact Sarah at United Way of Aroostook if you are interested in volunteering for this. We will work with your schedule for the most part to engage you as a volunteer. There will be both remote and in-person options offered for the Cash Coalition's tax services this year. So we encourage you, especially with the remote options, to be able to connect with us, because you may be able to volunteer at hours that are more convenient for you. CoverMe.gov. This is the last week of open enrollment in CoverMe.gov, Maine's affordable health coverage network. We encourage you to use in this last week, but get an appointment in quickly. Andrea White here at ACAP, if you are in need of assistance in navigating this site at all, or just discussing options that are available to you. If you are already covered under the Affordable Care Act here in the state of Maine and have not revisited this site or connected with Andrea, we encourage you to do so, because in many cases there are additional programs and opportunities for you to maybe even save additional funds. You can also, through this site, determine eligibility for Maine Care and get that process started. But please do so quickly, because the 15th is this weekend. It's Saturday, and that's the last day of the open enrollment period. We also want to remind folks, as the number of COVID-19 cases here in Aroostook County and across the state of Maine remains high, that COVID-19 vaccination is available. It's now available for ages 5 and older, and anyone who is, I believe, 12 and older now has the opportunity to get a booster shot. So if you are in that age category, please do connect with your local site. If you go to maine.gov, the website here, /COVID-19/vaccines, you can find out where your local or closest to you vaccination site is. In addition to that, if you're unable to register online for whatever reason or see that, you can give us a call here at ACAP at 764-3721, and we will certainly work with you to help access an appointment nearby you. In addition to that, don't let transportation be a barrier. The Department of Health and Human Services is offering a free vaccine ride program. The number to call there is on your screen, and we certainly encourage you to take advantage if transportation is a barrier for you to get to your vaccination appointment or booster appointment. We're also reminding folks with the high rate of transmission in the region that it is certainly prudent of you to wear a mask indoors, an area of high transmission, which Aroostook County and the entire state of Maine has been. Cities like Portland have instituted mask mandates. There's no sign that that's happening here in Aroostook County, but we're just encouraging folks out of an abundance of caution to consider wearing masks. And if you do visit an ACAP facility, just a reminder that we do have a mask mandate in effect, and all of our staff will be wearing masks in public areas, and ask you to mask up as well. And if you don't have one with you, we'll certainly provide one for you. And speaking of the implications of the COVID-19 pandemic, we are offering community supports, community social supports for individuals who are asked to quarantine or isolate, which include grocery and meal deliveries, assistance to shelter or stay at home, and other ways as well. If you find yourself in this situation, please do not venture out. We're asking you to follow the isolation and quarantine guidelines and allow us to support you in this way. This is in partnership with the Maine Department of Health and Human Services Center for Disease Control. You can either go online and apply to receive assistance through this program, or you can call us directly and we'll help you out getting that application done and get those assistance support services out to you. We are also offering programs, as we have been indicating to you, as including the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, which is essentially available to all households who meet income eligibility guidelines who are renters here in Aroostook County. We encourage you to go to the mainehousing.org/COVID-rent website to fill out an application. If you are unable to do that, you can certainly give our office a call here and we'll do that with you over the phone. There is a bit of a waiting period because of the high volume on this program, but if you do apply, we will get to your application and there's a follow-up that's required with you. We'll get back to you as well as to your landlord who will need to participate in the program and connect with us as well. And also the Home Energy Assistance Program. We've had some pretty cold days here and are in the heart of the winter season here in Aroostook County. We do have some available slots for appointments and certainly more as the winter goes on, and we've processed through our regular customers We also encourage folks who have not applied in a long time, or maybe who have never applied, to check out the income eligibility guidelines. I have them here on our screen. They are also available on our website. Those income eligibility guidelines have increased in recent years. So if you didn't qualify before, you may qualify now. And just a reminder that we are also just doing a 1-month look back if your 12-month or 3-month look back doesn't look favorable in terms of getting an award. So if there's been a change in your income in just the last month, in a position that would maybe allow you to benefit from this program, please do reach out to us, as we would love to help you get this benefit if at all possible. And also a reminder that the ACAP Community Cupboard, the one located at 771 Main Street, is available to folks 24/7. We are also looking for sponsors. It's one of the more heavily used ones in Aroostook County. $500 will help us stock it for the month, but you can also adopt it as an organization or as a household even, and help us keep it stocked for the month. Please contact Sherry Locke if you have any interest in this. Give what you can, take what you need. Community Cupboard, located outside of our 771 Main Street property. And finally, if you are in need of any assistance that you have, that you maybe even aren't aware of what services are available for you out there, please contact us here at ACAP. We have navigators who are working within the agency to help individuals who are finding it difficult at this time and difficult to navigate the social services network, which can be challenging and complex. We encourage you to reach out to us at 764-3721 and ask to speak to a navigator. We'd be happy to help you in that regard. And that's this week's news and information that you can use. I'm pleased now to welcome back to the program. We talked about this at the beginning of the program, and I previewed this, that we're going to talk about the SNAP-Ed program here in Aroostook County and ACAP's expansion into central and northern Aroostook County with that program. But I'm pleased to welcome back a familiar face, Alison Gooding, who coordinates and is the community educator for that program in southern Aroostook. Alison, welcome back.
Good morning. Thank you, Jason. Glad to be here.
It's so nice to have you back. And it's nice to also have your new colleague, relatively new colleague. She's been with us for a little while now, but this is her ACAP Today debut. And that's Cricket Hoose. Cricket, welcome to ACAP Today.
Thank you.
All right. And actually, Alison, I'm going to start with you because you're the sort of seasoned veteran here on ACAP Today, to sort of give folks a reminder, because not everybody commits to memory what the SNAP-Ed program is. And certainly people in southern Aroostook who have had you engaging in the community with this program for some time now have a little bit of a better understanding. But let's reintroduce SNAP-Ed to the folks of Aroostook County.
Sure, I'd be glad to. I think it's important for people to know, and this piece that they might not realize, is that when there is a program at the federal level, such as SNAP, which is the USDA's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, there has to be an arm of education to go along with that, to explain to the folks who get SNAP benefits how to maximize their benefits. And that's basically what SNAP-Ed nutrition educators like Cricket and I do. We help people learn easy, fun ways to shop and cook and eat healthy foods on a budget. And that can be with people who are from the ages of 3 in classes up to 103. So we work with the whole age range of our community members in a classroom setting or places like daycares and Head Start programs and schools and after school programs, community centers or senior centers. But we work with individuals, as you see here are some Head Start children. My most recent class that I've had with them is a curriculum called Eat Well, Play Hard. And we were having the kids make flavorful fruit kebabs. And so they really enjoyed putting all the colors of the rainbow on their little skewers and just really enjoying new foods and new tastes. They even were brave enough to taste those seasonal pomegranate arrows. So that was pretty exciting for 3- and 4-year-olds. So we work with a number of populations, and what we don't do, however, I should hasten to say, is that we don't work one-on-one with someone about their diet or about their nutrition. That would be something that your medical provider would be able to speak to better for your individual purposes. But we're happy to meet with groups, and we also work with the community as well on community projects.
Absolutely, Alison. That's a very good thing to point out because we are sort of there to assist folks in this capacity, but we're certainly not taking the place of a nutritionist or even a medical provider. And so thank you for that explanation. And now let's sort of move on to you, Cricket. First of all, since this is your first appearance on ACAP Today, maybe introduce yourself to folks in Aroostook County who may not have connected with you because you've not been here that long, and sort of talk about what brought you here and the and your background that makes you a really good fit for the SNAP-Ed program.
Sure. So I'm originally from New York, and I moved up here just for a change. And a big part of my career, no matter what job I've upheld, has been advocacy. So it's really important to me to advocate, healthy tips and try to improve the knowledge base that people of the community have so that they have the same opportunities as those of us who have the knowledge already. So, I'm really looking forward to increasing, outreach in the community and trying to implement ways for people to shop on a budget and eat healthier, increase their movement, doing things like meal planning ahead of time so that way it can fit into busy schedules because let's face it, we all have busy lives. So I'm just really looking forward to getting involved, and all of the community projects that ACAP offers are really great. So I'm really looking forward to the future with this program.
Great, Cricket. Well, so Alison talked about some of the efforts that she does and extends out into the community. I imagine because the program is the same that you'll be doing much of the same in central and northern Aroostook County in terms of, going into classrooms, community settings and the like. Is that your intent and plan? And talk a little bit about the curriculum, if you will, of SNAP-Ed.
Sure. So we definitely want to get out there and get into classrooms. Also doing, I think right now I'm going to be working on some Zoom videos just because of the increase in COVID cases and things like that. So we've got our Eat Well, Play Hard, which is increasing physical activity while also trying to decrease screen time. We also have, tips for teens and adults and picking better snacks and things like that. So ideas about shopping on the perimeter of stores, so that way you avoid most of the processed foods that are made available to us. Again, like I mentioned, trying to plan ahead so that way you have an idea already before you go into the store of the groceries you want to purchase, so you're not just impulse buying while you're there. And that, of course, leads to healthier choices and healthier people overall.
So I think, Alison has a well-established network of folks in southern Aroostook County. Folks know her down there and connect with her very easily. How can folks best connect with you if they're hearing this in the St. John Valley or here in central Aroostook to be able to say, gosh, I really want Cricket to either connect with us via Zoom or come and see us to provide some of these activities?
Definitely right now, email is probably the best for sure.
And that's your email, just so that folks know. If you want to sort of spell it out for us, that would be very helpful.
Give me 1 second.
She's
so
muted.
It's going to be S. Sorry.
Go ahead.
shoose@acap-me.org.
Great. All right. Perfect. And I'm sure that if you do know Alison and you're looking for services in other parts of the county and you just know Alison, you can connect with her and she'll connect you with Cricket for sure. Alison, talk about, I was, talking with Cricket a little bit about sort of the curriculum and the foundations of SNAP-Ed. You both talked about what's new with the Eat Well, Play Hard.
Well, yes, we do eat well, play hard with the little ones, but I think what is really new is our community outreach. I'm so excited about the new community collaboratives that we've got lined up and under development. If you'd like to hear a little bit about that.
Absolutely. That's exactly where I'd like to hit. Thank you.
Perfect. One of my community organization activities is a continuing one that has been wonderful, and I've really enjoyed it, with the Holton Community Market, Farmers Market in the summertime. So it's seasonal work, which starts actually in the spring because we want to get all our partners and champions lined up to be on board, the farmers, the vendors, the families. So we have a presence. I have a presence at the Holton Market a couple times each summer to provide education and incentives, things like measuring cups or measuring spoons to encourage people to do their cooking at home and answer questions. And I do a fun, what I've done in the past is a scavenger hunt bingo game with a couple hundred kids, and they run madly all through the market to get their bingo, to come back to get their prizes. So that's been a great building, deepening relationship. And I'm very happy with how that's been going. And this year I am announcing a new development that I'm doing. It's working with the local library, the Cary Library, to identify populations. We're at the needs assessment stage right now of identifying populations, for example, senior citizens who might have some added challenges to eating healthful foods and moving in a way that helps them to retain their flexibility and those kinds of things. So I'm so glad to be working with our local library, because that's a great resource to get the word out, and it's a creative way of working with others in the community to reach these groups that might not have an opportunity to go other places. So we already have a good working relationship there, and I'm so looking forward to it. And actually, incidentally, it dovetails so nicely with the new national work group I've been asked to join, which is SnapEd in rural libraries. So there are a number of us who meet on a monthly basis. They're librarians, and there are SnapEd administrators and nutrition educators from all around the country, from Iowa and Michigan and North Carolina, South Carolina, Vermont. And there are 3 of us from Maine. And what we're doing, and I'm really excited about it, is putting together a toolkit that will be able to be used by librarians as well as SnapEd nutrition educators to find ways to join together, to collaborate across the country. So we're in the last stages of fleshing out the outline, and we're about ready to write the narrative. And that's been a really great process to see that working. And it works well on a local level, because it works well on the universal level as well as the local level. So I'm excited about that.
That is very exciting, Alison, and that really, I think, truly demonstrates that in cricket, I imagine that the same is true here in central and northern Aroostook County for the possibilities of what can be done. It really demonstrates that you work in SnapEd with people sort of across the lifespan, because Alison's program, the library-based program that she's talking about, has a really focused population target on seniors. So is that also the case of the kind of programming you're looking to roll out in central Aroostook in the coming months?
Absolutely, and pretty much anything that is needed for the community, hopefully we can do our best to supply information and opportunity for them.
And what is it, Cricket, what is it you talked about, you came to Aroostook County and we're so glad to have you here. What is it that excites you about the opportunity to serve in a community educator role where you're able to connect with people on a topic that is near and dear to you, which is nutrition?
So pretty much just being able to give people the knowledge that they might otherwise not have access to. There's so many people who, even in today's world of technology, they don't have the access to that. So being able to get out there, whether it's promotion, via flyers, or just having a physical presence in the community, is so vital to the success.
Now, the work that you both do, is it accessible to the general population? So if you're hosting an event at the Cary Library, for example, Alison in Holton, do you have to be a SNAP benefit recipient to come to this event?
No, it is nothing that would be even noticeable to our participants. It's for the general public, but we kind of do the behind the scenes work to determine if the area would be eligible under SNAP Ed guidelines. So that's all taken care of. And no, you don't have to prove income or anything like that. The barriers are not there. So we really want to be helpful to the community.
Wonderful. So the level of community education that you're able to provide, Cricket, I imagine right now, as people are everyone's sort of challenged by, inflation, especially when they visit the grocery store, because that's something you can't avoid buying food. You need to sustain yourself. And many people, especially at this time of year, I've talked with Alison at all times of year, and I think we're always concerned about our health, but a lot of people like to start out the new year after maybe letting things go. I'm one of them during the holiday season, trying to focus on eating a little bit more healthy. And I think folks are realizing that there's a little bit more of a sting on your pocketbook right now, and recognizing that. What are some tips that you provide, or that, advice that you'd have for people out there that you might reach through community forums otherwise in this format, that you would say, gosh, if you do this, it will help a little bit, it can't take away the full additional cost because it's there, but will help you be able to go to the grocery store and get healthy foods and not spend as much as you might otherwise?
Definitely having a plan of action before you get into the grocery store, having your list already made out, maybe trying to, if you can't plan for an entire week, plan for a couple of days. So that way, when you walk in the store, you already have your mind kind of made up as to what you're looking to purchase. And hopefully prior to going to the store, you can have some sort of access to seeing what's on sale, or even when you're in the aisle, since well, not the aisle, because we'd rather stay away from the processed things, but, being able to look at the prices and understanding the different costs and which is cheaper. So that way you can still make, somewhat cheaper choices, but all the while, trying to stray away from in the impulse buying, which usually is the culprit in a lot of cases.
And Alison, what else might you add to that? I know that one of the things that you've talked about before is that when you do go and buy those items that are on sale, the opportunity, especially for items that are easily frozen or otherwise preserved, to sort of buy in bulk, if you will. Is that one of the other pieces of advice you'd give?
It is. Yes, it is. One of the things to keep in mind is that sometimes people think, oh, fresh vegetables are so expensive, and they are. But what you'll find is, as Cricket was saying, if you can get your fresh vegetables in their most simple form, whether it's apple, pears, pomegranates, whatever it is, that will really go further for your health than some of the other processed foods that we've mentioned before. It's really kind of important to think about what you can get in bulk or on sale, and canned fruit and vegetables and frozen fruit and vegetables. You still have the same nutritional value. There's not a whole lot of difference with it. So there are things that you can do to perhaps rinse your canned vegetables to reduce your sodium level if it does have sodium included, or you can find the low sodium varieties. But I think that it's good to look at store brands as well, to consider some savings that way, and keep it as simple as you can. I think this time of year, as you alluded to before, for New Year's resolutions, people think, oh, this is just so daunting. I'm not sure how I can do this. This is a big thing. Well, I would encourage people to just make small changes. A little change over a period of time is valuable, and it has benefits. For example, if you're reducing or excluding sodas and those kinds of sugar-laden drinks, get it down to water. You might think, oh, I can't do that. Well, just do it a little bit at a time. Add water to your diet, and that is one of the best things that you can do for yourself. Just make little changes over time.
Alison, as you're saying that, I think, one of my things that I enjoy is, the seltzer waters, if you will, or it makes you feel the carbonation's there, but there's many of them are 0 calories, and that's just a sort of a good way to think alternatively. Let me ask you both. I'll start with you on this one, Cricket. There are a number of things I know in your work with the community, where you sort of advocate for, ways to eat healthy that is also very tasty, and eating healthy is to me anyway, and can be for many people very tasty. One of the things I really like to enjoy, and I've had it 3 times this week for breakfast, is avocados are on sale right now. And to take an avocado, cut it in half, pop that that big sort of middle part of it that you don't eat, and then sort of fill each half with a little bit of low-fat cottage cheese, and that makes a really good breakfast, and the combination together is really good. Are there any like other tricks or tips or special combos like that you would advise folks that are sort of staples of your diet, Cricket, that you think, gosh, folks, you should try this?
I really aim for simplicity. If I can just take fresh ingredients and toss it in a pan and maybe add a protein, the biggest goal is to try to, make most of your plate vegetables and be mindful about, the whole grains and things like that you're eating. So that way you're not eating too much of them. So I really try to aim for simplicity and any type of healthy alternative, as far as making your own ice cream out of coconut milk and fresh fruits and things like that, and letting it freeze. You're not going to have the same consistency as you would as regular ice cream, but something to satisfy that little bit of craving that you're having, and it's still a healthier option than going for Ben and Jerry's.
Indeed. Alison Gooding, you're very creative with food combos and the like. A secret recipe you're dying to share?
Oh, I don't know if I have a recipe to share. I guess I'm going with the simplicity of things, and just if you have them on hand, you're more inclined to use them. For example, for breakfast, I put a handful of fresh blueberries on my cereal. So just to make little choices like that throughout the day that would get to your goal, and you're kind of not aware of it as you do it. So I think that being creative, and I have lots of materials for adults when we do our 10 tips classes. We have a cookbook that goes along with that. Great recipes, whether they're just easy little pizzas that you can make in the toaster oven, or whatever your resources are. There are good recipes that you can find at the SnapEd website. You can actually sign up to get a text. I get my free text on Thursdays with helpful tips and hints. Just go to the main SnapEd website and sign up for free tips and tricks, and they'll come once a week. They're not in your face. They're not invasive. They're just some ideas that you can say, oh yes, those are some good ideas for how to choose certain fresh vegetables, things that we might not think about without those little reminders. So there are lots of different techniques to kind of help you make your decisions to be healthy ones.
So that's a great resource. So it's the main SnapEd website where you can access that text being sent to you?
Right.
Great. All right. So folks, that's a good opportunity. Our 2 community educators working for SnapEd across Aroostook County, even if they're not in your community at the moment, there are some really good resources that they can help provide you with. So whether it's that or other things, we encourage you to connect with them. Ladies, what have we left out of the conversation that you wanted to make sure folks knew about in terms of the SnapEd program and your work in our communities now countywide? Did we miss anything?
I think I might encourage people to look for us in the community, whether we're at a farmer's market or at the library or in the community itself. We're here, we're available. As Cricket mentioned, email is hands down the best way to get a hold of me, and our emails are similar. It's just the first initial of one's name. So mine is AGOODING at acap-me.org, and people can reach out that way, and we'll respond. So I would suggest that.
And Cricket, just so folks aren't deceived by that, it's not C Hoose, it's S Hoose on your email, just so that we get the right email for you, right?
Yes.
And what else? What did we miss from your perspective that you wanted to share with the public that you wanted people to know about SnapEd?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head at the moment.
All right, well, we certainly want to encourage folks to connect with both of you. If you don't quite know which community either one of these fine individuals are covering for you, you're welcome to reach out to either of them. They communicate and work together quite well, so they can certainly refer to the other as needed, and we'll certainly gladly connect with you in the community, whether it's, as Alison noted, a library or a classroom setting, or even at times in the grocery store, as our team has alluded here. I want to thank you both. Alison, thank you both for being back. Cricket, thank you for making your ACAP Today debut. We look forward to seeing you out and about, or on Zoom, or wherever you're at in the community, connecting with folks on this very important topic, and one that I think has become all the more important, especially with, as I mentioned, the cost of groceries and how folks seem challenged with that right now. So folks who in the past maybe said, okay, I'm fine, I go to the grocery store and I get what I need, but the opportunity to save a few dollars and to continue to eat healthy is something that's important to many people, all of us, I guess. And so thank you both for joining us and sharing those tips and tricks, and your willingness to connect with people in the community for us. With that, I want to thank our guest, and I want to thank all of you. But before we sign off for this edition of ACAP Today, just a quick reminder that if you would consider joining our team, if you'd like to consider joining our team, we have positions all across Aroostook County, from a bus driver there at the top of the list in Dyer Brook, to a navigator in Presque Isle, and a home visitor up in the St. John Valley. Those positions are available through our agency. If you have the skill set for any of these positions and you want to check them out further on our website, we certainly encourage you to do that. We'd love to have you join Alison and Cricket and other members of our team, 200 plus strong, doing great work across Aroostook County. And lastly, we normally show you a photo of the week, and we're going to continue that tradition during this 2022 50th anniversary year for ACAP. But we're going to be doing throwback pictures and featuring throwback pictures throughout the year of 2022. So our first throwback picture this week is a snapshot of one of ACAP's earlier facilities. This photo was taken actually in 1976, and I was all of 2 years old at the time when this picture was taken. You can tell by the cars, the period cars in the driveway. This was the facility that served as ACAP's administrative offices on the location of the former Presque Isle Army Air Base that had served as a military installation during World War II, before it permanently closed in the 1960s, when President Kennedy determined that the SNARC missile base facility that it had transitioned to was obsolete, closed the facility, and like Northern Maine Community College and many other organizations in Aroostook County, local community organizations and nonprofits took over former military facilities that had been abandoned as a result of the closure of the base. This was one of them. This was ACAP's. I've heard wonderful stories from former employees, current employees, and others that you actually used to get snowdrifts in part of this building on a winter day, because there was so much opportunity for wind to get through the building. But this was one of the early, and what I want to say before we leave is, ironically, this was just down the road from the facility, ACAP's newest facility that we are working to acquire to transition into supportive housing, that is now at 1 Edgemont Drive. So everything comes around again, and we're just down the road from where we kicked off community action here in Aroostook County on the former Presque Isle Army Air Base. With that, and this throwback snapshot of the week, we'll have one for you each week moving forward. I want to say thank you for joining us on this edition of ACAP Today. Again, thank you to Alison and Cricket for their contributions. We'll be back next week with another edition of ACAP Today, featuring another program that's either new or expanding here in Aroostook County that we want you to know about. We hope you join us then. Until then, have a great week, everyone, and we'll see you next week.